we're going to be talking about Patrick Surtain and Javonte Williams on today's show. So who is your favorite player between these two rising stars on the Broncos roster? If it's Surtain, put his jersey number 2 down below for PS2, or if it's RB33, drop number 33 in the comment section below. What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson, and we've got a pretty jam-packed show today, the latest news and rumors surrounding the Broncos. But first up, we're going to talk about Javonte Williams, then we'll get to some Surtain talk, and end the show with a wild trade idea, so stay tuned for that. But first, Javonte Williams is a breakout season coming. After the year he had last year, I don't know if you can really call it a breakout when you rushed for nearly 1,000 yards in your rookie year, but we'll call it that. Now, he was speaking to the media today after some practice, and a guy who I always struggle to pronounce his last name, Eric Delilah, I think it is, who does a fantastic job covering the team, tweeting out Javonte Williams on if he has statistical goals for year 2. Not really. I'm just trying to win a Super Bowl. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me too, Eric. Like, who's going to turn that proposition down here? This is a team-first type of player. You'll love to see that, especially at a position where you know guys can be a bit greedy and try to get some extra touches to get the bag in their second contract, which, no hate for me, I'd probably be doing the same thing too. Last season for the Broncos, in his first season, to get nearly 1,000 rushing yards as a RB2, let that sink in. Right? I know he was kind of RB1, RB1A with Melvin Gordon. They would alternate drives, essentially, at different points in the season. So I'm very curious to see what the running back balance is for this year, because Williams and Gordon both rushed for both had 203 carries last season. Dead even. What's it going to look like in year 2 for Williams, right? Are you going to take 30 carries away from Gordon and put him onto Williams' plate? Like, if you took 4 carries away from Melvin Gordon every game, and you added that to Javonte Williams, what's the math on that? 68, 70 carries? So that sounds like a big workload. I'm very curious to see what it's like, but let me pose this question to you. Over or under 5 touchdowns for Williams in 2022? Join the overs club. Have some fun with it. Don't be an under guy. He had 4 last season. Can he get to 5? I think 5 is what Phillip Lindsay had in his rookie season, if memory serves me correct. So let me know what you're thinking down below in the comments section. Next up is Patrick Surtain, set to be a top corner in 2022. The way he played last season, why wouldn't he be? There's just not much of a conversation of, don't look now, Surtain's an awesome corner. No, he's already been an awesome corner. He looked like a vet in his rookie season. And Surtain, after the press conference, during his press conference today, had a very interesting quote I think everyone should see. It should be a very exciting year. We're going to make a lot of plays, and we're going to be ball hawks. Ooh, ball hawks. Okay, well, let's rewind and remind ourselves what Surtain did last season. 4 interceptions in his rookie season, cashed 1 in for a touchdown, and 14 PBUs to go along with it. Now, his coverage stats, when you get to the nitty-gritty of what he did in his rookie year, pretty good stuff too. A 51% completion percentage, allowed 545 yards and 3 touchdowns. For a guy that was picked on a ton, I mean, the guy that, who took on the top wide receiver, so a lot of targets came his way, you'll take that any day of the week. Now, Eric tweeted this out, which I thought was very interesting as well, saying Pat Surtain II said he'll start watching film of DK Metcalf, who the Broncos play in Week 1, the Seahawks, and Deebo Samuel, their Week 3 matchup, and I'd imagine another early season wide receiver before training camp to prepare for early in the year. We'll watch the 4 tendencies, route concepts, what they like to do. I love to see this from a young corner because he's not really all that concerned about training camp and preseason. That's the kind of stuff vets do. They're like, you know what? You guys can fool around with playing the Browns in Week 2 of the preseason. No, we're going to be locked into when actual football starts. We're not looking over the preseason. We don't have to worry about the preseason. We have to worry about Week 1 against the Seahawks. So I love to see that kind of stuff. And I love doing recaps after wins. Didn't get as many as we would have liked to have seen last year. Hopefully that changes, though, in 2022. So subscribe today if you want to have fun game recaps and not be sad and depressed Sunday afternoon. I can't say if you don't subscribe, they won't be fun. Maybe they'll lose, because I'll never put that evil on this world, right? Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. But why leave it up to fate? Hit that big red button and subscribe. Also, I want to give a quick shout out, a little overdue. I'm sorry, Nate, I didn't forget about you. But Nate Williams super thanks us, which, in case you don't know, it's that little heart icon, like right around here, right around there, yeah, with a $sign in it, and boom, you can donate to the show like Nate did, and I'll give you a shout out on the show. Nate asking, who do you think will be the breakout defensive end rookie this year? If you're asking for the entire league, I'll go with a sleeper, Jermaine Johnson. Hand up if you remember doing mock drafts and whatnot when the Broncos had the 9th overall pick, and there was some talk of going edge rusher there. I spoke about Jermaine Johnson as a round 2 pick when they had Seattle's the Rams' second round pick and their own, and all of a sudden that guy blew up and went all the way to the first round of the Jets. I love Jermaine Johnson a lot. Liked him coming out of FSU. Thought the Jets had a good draft. So that's my sleeper pick for a leading defensive end. Anyone could say Trayvon Walker or Aiden Hutchinson. I'll go off the beaten path. Give me Jermaine Johnson from the Jets. All right, next up on the show. So the Broncos be trading Ronald Darby. What? Right? That's probably your initial thought. And that was mine too when I saw this. So an interesting article came out from Fansided where they proposed some cut candidates. And in their cut candidate section, they mentioned trading Ronald Darby and the possibility of it to save some cap space. So Darby signed a 3-year, $30 million contract with the Broncos back in the 2021 offseason. They could save nearly $10 million by trading him. Why would they do that, though, right? You can always save money. That's always a fun idea. One, it's not my money, so I'm never all that jumping up and down about saving money. But if you look at the black and white, the finances behind Darby's contract, if you were to trade him after June 1st, because that's a big date in the NFL, let's assume it's post 6-1, dead cap for this year's $3 million, dead cap for next year's $3 million, cap savings for this year is $9.8 million. The only way I see a Darnold trade happening is if Damari Mathis, the 4th-round pick from Pitt, and Michael Ojemudia ball out in training camp. And I mean ball out in preseason games. And all of a sudden, George Paton is looking over the practice field, and he goes, I got Surtain, I got Darby, I've got K'Wan Williams in the slot already. And wow, Mathis and Ojemudia look very good. And if you remember, George Paton took trade calls last year for some of his DBs because he stockpiled a whole bunch of them. He probably should have traded Kyle Fuller. That was hindsight's 2020, so there's no way he would have known Fuller was just going to be awful. I didn't see that coming at all, and I was wrong on that front for sure. So maybe Payton this year goes, all right, well, I would say I learned my lesson last year, but I can save some money. He's an older guy. I want to give some reps to my young players like Mathis and Ojemudia. I can somewhat rationalize it, but not really. So I'll open it up to you guys. Would you trade Ronald Darby? Y for yes or N for no? I'm not jumping up and down about the idea of trading Darby, who last year, you look at the stats, as a corner, no interceptions. You don't get that many opportunities to jump on a stat sheet or jump out off a stat sheet if you don't make a pick. But let's not forget, the Broncos this season, they play some good quarterbacks. You've got the usual suspects like Mahomes and Herbert twice. Didn't put Carr on there. F you, Raiders. Matt Ryan from the Colts. I think Matt Ryan's still a good quarterback. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, and Matthew Stafford. Let's look at those last 4 names for a second, a little bit closer, though. Matt Ryan, an MVP. Granted, a while ago, 2016. Lamar Jackson, an MVP. Kyler Murray, one of the ascending quarterbacks in the league. Matthew Stafford, the guy who just won a Super Bowl. Keep the extra DBs. You're playing a lot of good quarterbacks this year. And that's true for probably every team in the NFL. Maybe some more than others. But, yeah, let's hold on to an extra defensive back because teams are passing it more than ever. We've heard that the new DC in Denver, Evero, wants to put extra nickel and dime packages on the field. So why don't you have an extra corner in case an injury happens and you're not thin at a position that you clearly value a ton? We've learned that George Paton, he likes to have corners. He sees no reason you can't have an extra corner if you're George Paton. That's not a thing to have too many corners. So keep Darby. Sure, you could trade him, save nearly $10 million. Save that money for what? Unless you're going to spend that money elsewhere, save it for what reason, right? This is a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl right now, not trying to save money. So I'm not ripping fan-sided apart here because they didn't really dive into the idea of even trading Darby, but it's a loose idea of, oh, you got some extra DBs, you got some young guys, you could save some money. How about you explore that? I'm not interested. I'd keep the extra DBs. All right, appreciate everyone that clicked on today's video. Thank you for making us a part of your day, and I'll see you guys later with more Broncos news and rumors.